It's hard to be you in the world you can't trust. You speaking vanity, but they ain't saying much. Got a swag, make a bad bitch blush. My power on perfection, so that you stumbling ain't good enough. And plus, stalking revenge. I don't know if it's love or it's lust. You know my fight though, I ain't giving up. And if I gotta be corrupt, I can't live it up. But truth is, I need more bucks. I bear arms like a crutch. And if you want people, make your own cuts. I ain't your typical nigga. I'm a professional in red form. Popping twins, forms in the celestial. It's the humble and truth in this weird stage. This world trying to manipulate me in the maze. But I gotta get it on in these last days. I'ma do it my way. I ain't tripping my ways. And I'm coming for the glory. And you say these levels out. He ain't solid, he falls. I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. And I know they gon' cross. That's why I still stay afloat. On this road, on the low, that's how I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. These niggas covered in another spirit. If it ain't authentic, I ain't trying to hear it. Not a word. He brought Molly up on Brimstone. I got my feet to the ground like the Flintstones. Ready to snap like a wishbone. You either get with it or you get beast on. I'm a spectacle to him, they don't know what he on. My retribution gon' be sweeter than the honeycomb. I love my women, they stack dollars for me. Pick up the house, he like a father to me. He got me swinging like Ray Charles. You not even trying with they flaws, boy. I'm flying in projectiles. Mighty man, nigga, let's go into my steptown. She shouted the clock, I miss you shouting. Where they lost in the angels, go and get you falling. Hey, I'm coming for the glory. Had you say these levels out. He ain't solid, he falls. I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. And I know they gon' come. That's why I still stay afloat. On this road, on the low, that's how I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one.
Shalom, Israel, Shalom. It's the Israelite School of UPK, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm the commander, Juliana. I tell you, give me a cup. I'm about to shot. Today is Wednesday night biblical law class. Let me see if we live. Today is Wednesday night biblical law class. ISBK Sacramento, ISBK NorCal. Just a second. Let me see if we live. Facebook on there. Just a second. I'm not sure. Why is Wi-Fi unplugged?
No, I'm just saying.
Everything to water. Just a second. Let me see if we live. Like I said, man, it's ISBK Sacramento, man, ISBK NorCal. Make sure you like and share the class, Baba Kasha. Today is Wednesday night biblical law class. All right. I believe we live. I can't see it ain't popping out. Let me see. Let me check one more time. Also, make sure you put your name, city, and state. Matan, yeah, y'all was just about to die. To all the brothers, y'all should more talk about me. Shout out to sisters. All right. So we gonna see if we live right quick. Hey, Martin, yeah, okay, you watch it from YouTube. Okay, so we learn on YouTube. We see it from Facebook everywhere. Sacramento.
No.
Is that up on the sack page? Let's see. Why? Let's see. I don't know why we ain't on the sack page. Shit. We just gonna teach the class. It don't even matter. You know what I mean? So like I said, today is Wednesday night biblical law class. As y'all can see, it's a lot of things that's going on. You know what I mean? In the news, in these last few days, you got Kanye West making all these statements about being the black people in America being the real Jews, and what else? You know, saying that the Jewish man is he's not an imposter. He didn't call him an imposter, but he was basically saying that they are behind the destruction of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. You know what I mean? They push the agenda of rap music and the black people wanting to kill each other and rappers send them to sleep with your girl. They push that agenda because 99% of the people that's 90% of the people that signing these rappers are Jewish. You know what I mean? And all that money go back to the Jewish community. And black people, we don't get no money off drill rappers and all that. Brothers start rapping about killing and shooting. Guess what? Everybody lose their family member. Everybody lose a father, or uncle, or dad, a son, a cousin. You know what I mean? So basically, he was just going into it and saying how it's one sided and how they manipulated us. So now, in return, first he made these comments uh, on Twitter, and after he made the comments on Twitter, he went on Drink Champs with Noriega or Nori, whatever his name is, and then he went more into depth into what he was talking about as far as the Jewish topic and black people being the real Jews. And what y'all gotta understand, like I seen Captain Mashak post on the internet, right? Before there was a Kanye West, there was one West. The things that Kanye West is talking about, that's been going viral for the last few days. This is what we've been saying in the ISUBK since the '60s. We've been saying the same thing in the ISUBK that black people are the real Jews according to the Bible, according to the records that's in this book, because that's what the Bible is. The Bible is a book of records and history. This is not the Bible is not about Christianity. Christianity is a religion that was founded by the people that are oppressors. That is not. It has nothing to do with the Bible. You know what I mean? And when you pick up these records, it tells you that so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians are God's chosen people, and they're the Jews of the Bible. So what Kanye West is talking about is just barely scratching the surface of what we've been saying for the last what since the '60s. For the last 60, 70 years, we've been saying this. You know what I mean? But we pray for moments like this for rappers like rappers and entertainers, somebody with a platform. You know what I mean? To wake up and start also telling the people this. I ain't gonna say tell them this, but it's good that they wake up. You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of people that follow rappers like Kanye West. They like his shoes, they like his clothing, they like his whole agenda or him trying to be president. And, they like everything about him. And what him saying that we black people are the real Jews, what that's gonna do, that's gonna get more of the information that we already been teaching since the '60s out. That's gonna make people start studying. Not everybody might not start studying, but that's gonna make a good handful of people start studying and trying to see exactly what he's talking about. Like, is he really crazy, or is what he's talking about true? Are black people the real Jews of the Bible? You know what I mean? And what you come to find out is that, like, Kanye West is right. He can't be anti-Semitic, because that's what they trying to label now. They banned him from TikTok. They banned him from all his interviews off of any platform. DJ Academics, the Drink Champs. You can't even see his interviews no more. They banned it. You know why? Because people that run social medias, all these different social medias, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, you know what I mean, all of it, YouTube, they all ran by Jewish people, and they all got the same agenda. They say, you know what, ban it. We don't need that information getting out. You know what I mean? We don't need that type of negativity, and they banned them. You know what I mean? But like I said, we've been teaching this since the '60s that Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians are the real Jews. And like I said, Kanye West is right. He can't be anti-Semitic because he is Semitic. Well, that's the word they use in the Bible is called a Shemite. So what we gonna do today is we gonna go into the record. We ain't gonna just talk. We gonna prove what Kanye West was saying with the Bible. You know what I mean? And also we can get a few other books to prove the same thing. But we don't go into what Kanye West was trying to say on when he had it on Drink Champs. And we gonna go into it and we gonna show you in the Bible. And guess what? This is something that you would never learn in your Christian church. The same Bible that we finna teach out of is the same Bible that your grandma got on her dresser that she got in the living room. You know what I mean? The same Bible that they teach in the Christian church. You would never learn this in the Christian church though. And your entire lives being in there. You know why? Because the Christian church is not about teaching Black people the truth. That's not what the Christian church is about. The Christian church is based on your Christian pastor getting rich off of Black people, feeding them a hope and a dream, and getting rich off of it, just like rappers do, just like entertainers do. That's what his whole goal. His goal is not to tell you the truth. His goal is to make sure you keep sinning, so on Sunday he can make you feel bad and make you feel good, and you give him money, he become rich, and you stay poor. That's what the agenda is. You know what I mean? So, like I said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the records and we're gonna show and prove that Black people are the real Jews according to the Bible, and the people that say that they're the Jews are imposters. They don't fit none of the curses in this book. All right. So first, what we're gonna go to Second Thessalonians. Let's go to Second Thessalonians right quick. You know what I mean? Let's see. We'll go to Second Thessalonians chapter 2. All right. 1 second. Give me a second. Make sure that, man, if you tune in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's very important that you do all that. Okay, so let's go to First Thessalonians 5. First Thessalonians chapter 5. And, let's go to First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Make sure you put your name, city, and state as well, so we can mark you down for attendance. But this is First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. It said, "Prove all things," and that's what the Bible said. The Bible say, "Prove all things." That's what you're supposed to do. You understand? You ain't supposed to say, make a statement without proving it. You ain't supposed to make certain accusations without proving it. You got to prove. You got to prove all things. You know what I mean? That's what the Bible says. So what we gonna do today? We gonna do exactly what the Bible says. We gonna prove that Black people are the real Jews. We gonna prove that you can't be anti-Semitic, and how that word is really just that's a vague word, because it's a lot of different people that are so-called Semitic or Shemites. You know what I mean? We gonna get into the whole origin of it. But what did the Bible say? It says, "Prove all things, hold fast that which is good." You're supposed to prove all things. I said the Black people are real Jews. We gonna prove that. I said that these other people are imposters. We gonna prove that. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do. But the thing is, in the Black community, you don't have to prove anything. Like the Christian church been talking about God since the '60s, and nobody ever wants them to prove anything. The Christian pastor make it sound good, and you just believe it because you never heard it before. It sound good and you never heard it before, so you just believe it. But the Bible says they're supposed to prove all things, and that's why when you get certain members that's in the church that actually want to stand up to the rhetoric that they're being taught, and they put their hand up, the Christian pastor don't want to answer no questions. You can't raise your hand in the Christian church and ask the pastor nothing. or debate with him about anything, because he don't want nobody coming up against him because he know he's lying to you. You know what I mean? But what we gonna do is we gonna prove all things. So let's drop that. Let's go to Second Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians chapter 2. And, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. The Bible says to prove all things, and it said, let no man deceive you. Why? Because there's going to be men out here that's going to lie to you, and they are going to try to deceive you. Like Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, we have been deceived in America. We have been deceived in believing in the American dream, believing that all people are equal, we all can come together and be one and sit at the table of brotherhood under the banner of love. We have been deceived in this place. You know what I mean? What did it say? It said, let no man deceive you by any means. The Bible said, don't let no man deceive you by any means. And the first step to not being deceived is making sure that somebody that's telling you something, especially when it comes to the Bible, is making sure they prove what they're talking about. That's the first step to not being deceived. Because you can believe anything, including a lie, especially if you never heard it before and it sounds good. You can believe anything. That's why the Bible say, prove all things. And on top of that, it said, what? Let no man deceive you. You let no man deceive you by making sure they prove everything. That's how brothers and sisters came into the ISUBK. Commanders in Yohana and all the generals and captains and officers, they was able to prove what they was talking about, which convinces people to believe in the same thing. Like, I believe that. I mean, why shouldn't I? They proved it. You know what I mean? They proved it. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now you ain't supposed to be listening to anything because it sounds good, man. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's go to Genesis chapter 18. Let's go to Genesis chapter 18. And then, and like I said, the Bible is not a fairy tale. The Bible is not a novel. The Bible is not some comic book that you pick up that's at your crib. Or none of that. It's not a fairy tale book. This is an actual book of actual people that actually live. You know what I mean? So now what we're gonna do now, we're gonna get the definition. I mean the genealogy of Shem. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. Okay, Genesis chapter 9, and we're gonna start at 18. Genesis chapter 9, verse 18. And the sons of Noah that went forth, and the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. So, if you don't know, the Lord destroyed the whole earth, and only 8 souls lived through the flood. It was Noah, and he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Those were his sons. So after the flood, the whole earth was populated with these three brothers and their wives. So let's read that again. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So with these 3 people, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, these are the people that populated the earth after the flood. So everybody on this planet either comes from Shem, Ham, or Japheth. They come from one of these three men. You know what I mean? And you know, like I said, you would never learn this in the Christian church. Like when the Christian church read Genesis and they read about Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they just completely overlook like that these 3 brothers became different nations of people, different races of people. They just completely overlook it. You know why? Because the whole doctrine of Christianity is about including everybody. That's what the whole book is about. I mean, that's like it. That's what the whole doctrine is about. The whole doctrine of being a Christian or Catholicism or Islam is about including everybody. But that's not what this Bible is about. Because as we continue to read, you will see that the Lord separated not only Noah and his 3 sons and their wives from everybody and killed everybody else, but then he also separated Noah's sons from each other. The Lord is about being a separatist all throughout this Bible. You know what I mean? So let's keep going. And it said, and Ham is the father of Salaki, is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. You see what I said? That's what I just said. From these three men, it said the whole earth was overspread, meaning that everybody on this planet either comes from Ham, Shem, or Japheth. And they get the word Shem. Matter of fact, let me try to get the definition. They get the this is when it says that when they call in Nick Cannon the anti-Semitic, this is where they get it from. Not the term anti-Semitic, but the term Semitic. They getting it from Shem. They saying that they come from Shem. All right, so hold on, let me get it right quick. Let me get you a good definition. And like I said, man, this is these what we going over right now, man. This is actual history. These are real records that we going over. You know what I mean? You know how they read the 13th Amendment and the First Amendment, and they go over the record saying, man, they oh man, you can't abuse my right. This my First Amendment to be able to do this and do that, man. It's in our Constitution. This is the Constitution of Black people. You know what I mean? This is the history of Black people. All right, so let me see. Let me look up Shemite. All right. Let me see right quick. It's a Shemite, a descendant of the biblical Shem. So that's what a Shemite is. A Shemite is a descendant of the biblical Shem. That's what Semite means. And what did it say? These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. The sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So when they say that he's anti-Semitic, let's look up Semitic because you know they like to play games with words. So let's look up Semitic. Okay, Semitic. It says relating to or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, certain ancient languages such as Phoenician, Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family, relating to the people who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic. So they saying that not only do that the Jews or the Hebrews come from Shem, but they also said that the Arabs come from Shem also. You know what I mean? Which is true. And that's why even to this day, you got the Arabs to say that, oh man, we come from Abraham. We come from Noah and all that. Every culture, either whether it's the Jewish man or the Arabs, they all try to trace their lineage back and say that we come from the people of the Bible. No matter who they is, but guess who don't do it? Black people don't do that. You know what I mean? Black people don't do that. We don't say that we come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But guess what? The Arabs do. The Arabs say that we come from Abraham. You know what I mean? Dude, this is our lineage. We come from Ishmael. And even with the Jewish men say they come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what makes them Israelites. That's what they say. Everybody try to identify and latch on and coattail this book and say they the people of this book, when in actuality they're not. The real people of this book is so-called black people. You understand? And so let me see. Okay, so boom. So now let's drop that. Let's jump down a chapter, and let's go to chapter 11, Genesis 11 and 10. All right. And it said, these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Alpharex 2 years after the flood. So now we starting to get into the genealogy of Shem. You know, they call Kanye West anti-Semitic, but we just read the definition. It said the people that come from Shem. And two of the main subgroups that come from Shem is the Arabs and the Hebrews. So let's keep getting it. We're going to really break this down. It said so now we get a genealogy and the pedigree of Shem and who he was and who his descendants was. And this is very important what we going on. We got to give this backdrop before we even able to even scratch the surface and understand what Kanye West is talking about. Not for brothers in the school, but for people in the world, they probably never heard that black people was the real Jews. You know what I mean? That we was Hebrews. They've never heard it. So now we gonna go into the records of this book that everybody claim that they believe in, and we gonna read it. All right. They said these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Ephrax 2 years after the flood, and Shem lived after he begot Ephrax 500 years and begot sons and daughters. And Ephrax lived 530 years and begot Salah. And Ephrax lived after he begot Salah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. So now it's giving you the whole backdrop. It's saying that Shem had Ephrax, Ephrax had Salah, Salah had this son and this son, sons and daughters, and then he had Eber. So then, but it's not mentioning uh, the names of his all the brothers' other children. You know what I mean? Because the Lord he don't deal with everybody. So they only mention certain of only one of his children. Like it says, Salah had sons and daughters, and then it said, and Salah begot Eber. Why? Because Eber probably was the only one that was keeping God's law. The same thing with Salah. The same thing with Aphrix. The same thing with Shem. He was the only one keeping God's laws. That's why it's only mentioning them, right? And it said, and he begot Eber, and this is where you get the word Hebrew from. The word Hebrew in Hebrew, how to pronounce it in Hebrew is what is it? Ibar or Ibaria. That's how you say Hebrew or Eber in Hebrew. You know what I mean? That's how you say this Ibaria, which means brought from the past or language from the past. Because this is the person that brought Hebrew from all the way off from when Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, you know what I mean? Shem, his grandfather, his grandson, his grandson, his grandson. They passed it down, and Eber was the one that kept the language going on. You know what I mean? Because when you read uh, chapter 11, you see that. What I'm gonna read it right quick. It said, the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. You see that? So at one point in time after the flood, the whole earth and the whole earth was talk one language and they had one speech. And they decided they wanted to build a tower up to fight God and the angels. And then so the Lord separated them and he put everybody in different lands and he made them speak different languages. But Eber, which is Ibaria in Hebrew, which means brought from the past, he made sure he kept the language of his fathers and his forefathers. He made sure he kept a hold of that language and he brought it and passed it down to his children. So when everybody else began to speak other languages, Eber kept the Hebrew language. You know, I'm gonna keep reading. And Salah lived after he begot Eber 430 years and begot sons and daughters. All right, so now we're gonna drop down because it's keep giving you the genealogy of who had who. Verse 26. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nor, and Haran. So now we starting to jump into it. So Eber had grandsons and had sons, and then one of his sons or one of his grandchildren had Terah, and then Terah had Abraham, Noah, and Haran. So now we get into Abraham, and like I said, and you talk to any Muslim, any real Muslim, you talk to any Jewish man, they say that we descend from Abraham. Everybody say that. You know what I mean? Everybody says that. So now we're gonna get into it. And it said in what was we at? Oh, verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram. When it say Abram, it's talking about Abraham. Before Abraham changed his name to Abraham, they called him Abram. And it said, in Haran, it's like, now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. Right. So then we all familiar with the story of Lot going being in Sodom and Gomorrah and God destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham was his uncle. You know what I mean? And it said, and Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his captivity in Ur of the Chaldeans. And Abraham and Nor took them wives. And the name of Abraham's wife was Sarah. And the name of Noah's wife, Milcah, and daughter of Haran, the father of Michal, and the father of Ishak. So now Abraham took a wife. His wife's name was Sarai. Before she changed her name to Sarah, before she got her name changed. It was Sarai. And then it went from Sarai to Sarah. Just like Abraham's name was Abraham, and then it went to, it was Abram, then it went to Abraham. It's no different from what we do in ISBK. You know that whatever name you was, and then you get a name change after 90 days, 60 days. You know what I'm saying? 6 months or whatever the number is, and you get a name change. All right. So now let's get more into it. So remember, Abraham is a descendant of Shem. All right. So let's go to Genesis chapter 17. It's lucky. Okay. Watch that out. Watch that out. So this is Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. It said, and when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. So when Abram, which is Abraham, was 99 years old, a God appeared to him, and he said, walk after me and be ye therefore perfect. How do you be perfect? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He told him to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and follow me and be perfect. And that's a little sidebar. You know, Christians love to say, oh man, you can't be perfect, man. It's impossible. It's possible. Lord, Christ said, pick up your cross and follow me. You know what I mean? Basically be perfect. It's not hard, man. Verse 2. He said, and I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. So this is very important. You know what I mean? He said he's gonna make a covenant with Abraham. He didn't say he was gonna make a covenant with the whole earth. He said, I'm gonna make a covenant with Abraham. That's what this whole book is about. This whole book is about God making a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their seeds after them. So let's keep reading. He said, I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. He said, look, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. And that's true. You know what I mean? How many tribes? There's 12 tribes. You got black, so-called black, Hispanic, Native American Indians that's scattered in all nations. We scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You know what I mean? He said he gonna be a father of many nations, right? And it said, and also, you got different people that come from Abraham, like Ishmael. You know what I mean? Like who else? The East Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese, black people, the white man. We all come from. You know what I mean? And it said, no, it's like it. Not. I'm tripping. We all of those nations don't come from Abraham, because Abraham had Jacob. I know Abraham had Isaac and Jacob. So the only nations that come from Abraham is the Arabs and so-called black people and white people. Those are the only people that come from Abraham. Everybody else they already had a nation before that. So let's keep reading them. But the Lord said He's going to make His covenant with Abraham and his seed after him. And Abraham said, verse 5, neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. He said, look, your name not going to be called Abram no more. It's going to be Abraham, because you're going to be a father of many nations. Keep going. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. Right. And when you look at them Arabs over there, they a big nation. You know what I mean? They're a big nation. They damn near kings and princes over there. Go to Arabia, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Dubai and all that. They rich. They got money. And even with the white man, or the oppressor. You know what I mean? He is there, and he's the king on this earth. He literally runs the whole earth. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. And it said, and I will and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. But this is what you got to pay attention to. He said, I will establish my covenant between me and thy seed after thee. You know what I mean? It said it's going to be an everlasting covenant. Meaning this covenant that I'm giving to you and your seed, this covenant is going to be forever. But keep it, you got to understand words. This is singular. This is not plural, meaning more than one. Because guess what? Abraham had more than one kid. Abraham had more than one son. So why is it saying what? I'm going to read it again. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed. It didn't say seeds. Ishmael was one of Abraham's sons. It didn't say seeds. It said seed. And after thee in their generation for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. See that? It keeps saying seed. Because you know what? Because the Lord don't deal with everybody. You understand? Verse 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And this is why the people that live in Israel, the Amalek, the Amalekites, whatever the hell they call the Jewish man, that's why they get trillions of dollars in money every year, billions of dollars in money every year, welfare from all these different nations, because everybody think that they are the people of God. They think that they are the real Hebrews. They the chosen people. So they just send them money all year round. Just send them money. You know what I mean? That could be furthest from the truth. The real people of God, the real people that the covenant belong to, and that land that they live in there and belong to, it belong to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. But because they took on our culture saying that they the Jews, they reap the benefits of our covenant. If you know what I'm saying. It said, and I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, and it's like in all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. Right, verse 9. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my commandments, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee and their generations. This is my commandment which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. And then it start going into the circumcision. But he said, this is my covenant between me and the seed after you. So now let's get into which seed he was talking about. Because like I said, I think Abraham had about like 8 kids or something like that. But it's saying he's not establishing his covenant with all those kids and all those children. He's established his covenant with only one of his children. So let's see what that is. And it's but let's keep going right quick. And it said, verse 15, and God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. But Sarah shall be her name, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. And then we're gonna go into the child that they had. What son did Abraham and Sarah have? They had Isaac. And it said, what? She shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. That's like the Bible intended for black people to be kings. The Bible intended for Hispanic, Native American Indians to be kings, man. Not everybody else. The Bible didn't determine for it. It wasn't set up for us to be footstools for everybody else, for every other nation. You know what I mean? And that's how powerful this book is, because the Arabs, the Jewish man, everybody traces their lineage back to some prominent uh, um, patriarch in this book. Everybody, besides black people, and they reap the benefits because of it. You understand? So let's drop. We're gonna drop that though, and for time's sake, and let's jump to 16. Let's go back a little bit and go to 16. So let's see who the child is that the other children that he had and the chosen child that he had. This is Genesis 16:1. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. So Sarah was barren. She wasn't able to have children. You know what I mean? They was up in age. She wasn't able to have children. And so she said, you know what, here go my handmaid, the Egyptian. I got an Egyptian handmaid. You know what I mean? Have a baby with her. I need some children. And Sarah said unto Abraham, to Abram, behold now, the Lord have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarah. I mean Sarai. So he listened to her. He was like, man, yeah, give me you want me to have your handmaid so we can have children. I'll have your handmaid. All right. And Sarah and Sarai, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham to be his wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said unto Abraham, my slacky. And Sarah said unto Abraham, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. All right, so they had their little issues, whatever. So let's keep going. So what ended up happening is Hagar end up running away. You know what I mean? And it was scared of Sarah or something like that. And then what happened? Let's go jump down to verse 9. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. So Hagar, he told Hagar to go back to Sarai, and he said, man, look, go back under her. She's basically your master. Go back to her. You pregnant? You pregnant with a son right now, and we gonna call his name Ishmael because I heard your affliction. You know what I mean? And we gonna call his name Ishmael. And who is Ishmael today? Ishmael today is the Arabs. Even they tell you that. Go ask the Arabs who's their forefather. They gonna say we descend from Abraham and Ishmael. That's what we descend from. Ishmael is our forefather. So let's keep going. And it's like verse 12. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Right. That's why they over there in our land right now. They over there in Israel, parts of Arabia, in Israel, and you know what I mean, Palestine. All that is the land that belongs to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, but they still live in that land. You know what I mean? Some of that land is supposed to be theirs, right? And they said he gonna be a wild man, and guess what? The Arabs are wild men. Them dudes is wild as hell. They think looking down a barrel of a gun, they going to heaven. They think blowing themselves up saying Allah Akbar, they going to heaven. They wild men. You know what I'm saying? They chopping people feet off and hands off for stealing. You know what I mean? Look, it's horrible over there. A woman can't even wear a woman gotta wear a dress. Period. She can't have no skin showing. If she do, she there to get stoned to death. You know what I mean? Because they are wild men. All right, verse 13. Uh, Oh yeah, and she called the name of the Lord that spoken to her. Thou seest me, for she said, have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore then it's like it. Wherefore the well was called. Okay, then start going into the well and all that. Then it said Hagar bare Abraham a son, and Abraham called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. And Abraham was fourscore and 6 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael. All right, so then Hagar buried Ishmael. She had that's the son that she had. Let's go back to 17:7. And I said, and what it said, the Lord said, I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generation for an everlasting covenant between a between a God and to Slack. I'm gonna read that again. I'm getting tongue twisted. Verse 7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations. So you see that. Abraham, so the Lord said he gonna establish his covenant with Abraham and his seed after him, not his seeds. Abraham had more than one child. So why is it saying seed? All right. To be a God unto thee and thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger in all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my commandments, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. You see that? He said, into thy seed after thee, not everybody, not all his children. Drop down to 15. And God said unto Abraham, hold on, let me see. Let's go to, let me see. Yeah, this is my covenant with thee. It's like, this is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. And like I said, you go talk to the Arabs, you go talk to the Jewish men, they all say that, man, we come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We come from Abraham. We all come from Abraham. Everybody knows that they come from somebody in this book but black people. You know what I mean? We think we come from some African man in the goddamn. And this is the thing, like, don't everybody want to say they're African, right? But everybody want to be the upper class in Africa. Everybody want to be the Egyptians. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be the Egyptian that built the pyramids and Nefertiti and King Tut and and all that. But nobody want to be the African with the plate in his lip. Nobody want to be the African that take a shower and cow doodle. Nobody want to be him. You know what I mean? Everybody know that they descend from somebody, some patriarch in this Bible besides black people. That's why you can talk to the Arabs right now. They said we come from Ishmael. That's our forefather. But black people we don't know this history. You know what I mean? So now we gonna get more into it. So then they end up having a son, Isaac, and let me see if I can get that right quick. All right. Yeah, I think that you got it. Let me see. I think it's in 21. Oh yeah, I think it is 21. All right. All right. So it said, and the Lord. This is Genesis chapter 21, verse 1. And the Lord visited Sarah, and as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Oh, and then also, um, yeah, and also, man, when you read, the Lord kicked Ishmael to the curb. Him and Hagar had to go, and then he ended up having Isaac, and then he was 100 years old. Isaac was 100 years old when he had Isaac, right? Abraham was. Matter of fact, we gonna get it right quick. This is Genesis 21:9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham. So Sarah saw the son of Hagar, which was Ishmael, mocking, like, you know what I'm saying, like basically like talking mess or being funny, treating them bad, right? And this is what she said. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. So Ishmael got kicked to the curb. She said, man, this wild man, this Ishmael, he ain't gonna be heir with my son. He's not gonna sit on the throne with my son Isaac. And keep reading. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. You see that? So this is the seed that we were just talking about in Genesis the 17th chapter. He said, "This is I'm establishing my." God said He going to establish His covenant with Abraham and his seed after him. We already got that Abraham had more than one child. So why is it saying seed? Because it said this is the seed that it was talking about. It was talking about with Isaac. What did it say? And it said, "Hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called." It said, "In Isaac shall his seed be called," meaning the covenant is going to go to Isaac. It's not going to Ishmael anyways. You know what I'm saying? Send him on his way. The Arabs don't matter to God. That's basically what it said. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it to Hagar, and put it on her shoulder and the children, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. So then he gave her some bread and water, and told her to kick rocks. You know what I mean? And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she sent. It's like, and she went and sat down over against him a good way off, as it was a bow shot. All right, and then basically she started crying. An angel appeared to her and tell her that that Ishmael is gonna be, you know what I'm saying, many nations gonna come from him. And he said, "Arise, lift up the ladder and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation." And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and guess what? The Ishmaelites are a great nation. The Arabs, they a good nation. I don't say good, but they, as far as them being a big nation, you know how many Arabs it is? You know what I'm saying? Islam is one of the biggest religions on the planet because of Ishmael, because the Ishmaelites and the Arabs. Yeah, they became a great nation. You know what I mean? But guess what? That's neither here nor there, because the covenant went to Abraham and Isaac. That's what the covenant went to. So now let's drop that and let's go to Genesis 25th chapter. Now we just slowly narrowing it down, showing you that the covenant was with Noah. Noah passed it down to his grandsons, uh, and then Eber, which is Hebrew, Ibaria in the Hebrew, he passed it down to his sons, and then his son passed it down to Abraham, and then Abraham passed it down to Isaac, and then Isaac is going to pass it down as well. So that's what we're gonna get right now. We gonna get because that's the thing what you do when you pass your covenant down. Because what did it say? It said it's gonna be an everlasting covenant. It's not gonna stop because Abraham died, or because Isaac died, or Jacob died, whoever. It's not gonna stop because of that. It's an everlasting covenant. You know what I mean? So they pass it down generation to generation for who the Lord chooses. All right, so let's go to Genesis 25 and 19. And it said, and these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethulah, the Syrian of Padaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated of the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So that he entreated of the Lord, and when they entreated the Lord, man, she went to man. He went to men, and that's what entreated the Lord. Entreated the Lord don't mean he just started. You know what I mean? He had to go to the men of the Lord. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, oh yeah, she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So she went to inquire of the Lord, when she went to men of the Lord, and she asked, if it's supposed to be a good thing, why am I in pain? Because it just said children struggle together within her, meaning that she was pregnant with twins. And she said, if this is supposed to be a beautiful thing, me being pregnant, I mean, why am I thus? Meaning what? Why am I in pain? Why do I feel like this? And she went to inquire of the Lord, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. You see that? So then they told her that she got two different manners of people. I'm reading it again. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb. Does anybody know what that means? I know here in the UPK we know what I mean, but anybody watching that don't know this verse, do you know what that means? Two nations are in thy womb. What does the word nation mean? The word nation means nationality. It means race. So what did the Bible say? It said two nations are in thy womb, meaning what? Two nations, two races of people are is in your stomach. You pregnant with two different nations of people. And it said, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And it said these two people, these two nations that's in your stomach, they have two different manners. What is manner? Manner is your behavior. Meaning that one like to chill with his family and just do regular stuff, and the other one like to sit in a goddamn tree with deer piss on them for 3 hours trying to hunt a damn coyote. They're two different manners of people. You know what I mean? And it said, they shall be separated from thy bowels. That's why I don't get. Everywhere you read the Bible, God is separating people. The Lord is a separate. He don't want everybody to come together. He just separated two babies. He just separated two babies before they even came out. He said, "Look at these two babies. These, because they're not just babies. The Lord, you know what I'm saying? He know the future. He said these two nations of people, they got two different. They got two different, entirely different behaviors, and they shall be separated from birth. Meaning they should never come together. It's not gonna work. So like with the Christian church trying to join everybody and push a doctrine that wants to include everybody on the goddamn planet and sit at the table of brotherhood under the banner of love and happiness and crying and all that. Look it, the Lord don't want that. That's not what he wants. We reading it right here. You know what I mean? And it said, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And he said, not only do these two people have two different behaviors, two different cultures, two different ways of life, but it said that the one shall serve the other. That's not equality. It said that one is stronger than the other. That's not equality. Meanwhile, the Christian church been teaching you to fight for equality for the last 60 years. They've been teaching black people to fight to be equal. When the Bible said ain't no such thing as being equal. You know what I mean? Ain't no such thing as being equal according to the Bible. All the way from Genesis to Revelations, the whole Bible is about separating. God been separating people since God separated Lot from everybody. God separated Noah, Shem, and Japheth from each other. And not only that, he separated Abraham from everybody. He separated Isaac from everybody. He separated Jacob from everybody. That's what this Bible is about. You know what I mean? This wasn't the first time. The Lord separating these Jacob and Esau in the womb wasn't the first time the Lord separated people. You know what I mean? Well, these two people getting separated is just they just the main characters of the story. Everybody else, it mentioned God separating everybody else, but these are the main characters of this story that's being told from Genesis to Revelations. You know what I mean? And it said, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So it said the elder person that come out, he's supposed to serve the younger one, the one that comes out second. Verse 24. And when her days to be fulfilled were delivered, behold, there were twins in her womb. So then, when she remembered, remember that whole backdrop we just read was when she went to inquire of the Lord of what was going on with her. Because remember, she said, "Why am I thus? If this is supposed to be a good thing, me being pregnant, why do I feel like this?" So she went and inquired of the Lord, and then the Lord told her, "Man, you pregnant with twins. The older supposed to serve the younger. They gonna be two different manners of people. They're not gonna behave the same. You should separate them from birth, and one gonna be stronger than the other one, and the older is supposed to serve the younger." That's what they told her. You know what I mean? And then it said when her days would be fulfilled, it said, "Behold, twins was in her womb." So this is a miracle because the men of the Lord, he told her that she was pregnant with twins. That's crazy, right? Verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. You see, so the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. You know what I mean? Who does this sound like? What is this a description of? This is a description of the white man in the Bible, something that you would never learn your entire life going to the Christian church. Because, like I said, the Christian church is about including everybody. I know he's Esau, but we're about inclusion. We're not about separating. This it said, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. This is talking about the oppressor. Why? Because he's red. That's why when you go to the South, they call them rednecks. You know what I'm saying? Why you think before them school shooters become school shooters, they be in the back of the classroom, nervous as hell, red as hell. You know what I mean? Because somebody picking on them. You see a white person get nervous, shy, or laugh too hard. What do they take? They term pink or red. And guess what? Red is just a derivative of pink, or pink is just a derivative of red. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? And this is the description that is given of them in the Bible. And it's something that you would never learn going to the Muslim mosque. It's something that you would never learn going to the Christian church. You would never learn this. You know what I mean? And it said the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And guess what he got hair all up his back. You know what I mean? The hair all over his arms and chest. And you know what I'm saying? He got hair there growing out his ears. That's how white people is. Let the white man not shave for 4 days. He gonna look like a goddamn caveman. Why you think that he the face of Gillette? You know what I mean? He the face of Gillette because let him not shave for a few days and you gonna think you seen a goddamn monster. You know what I mean? That's what's gonna happen. And it said and so remember the first came out red all over. What do we read? It said the elder shall serve the younger. So this white man is supposed to serve his younger brother. And verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And you see that? It didn't give a notice. It didn't give a description of the second baby. You know why? Because it wasn't normal. They had to give a description of Esau because it wasn't normal. For somebody to come out red and pinkish and with hair all over their body, that's not normal. Nobody looked like this. This is the first white person ever on earth. Nobody ever looked like that. That's why it didn't give a description of the second child. Why? Because the second child looked like everybody else. He didn't look like. I mean, he looked like his mom and his dad and his cousins and his uncles. But the Esau, the oppressor, he didn't look like everybody else. So it had to give a description because this was odd. This was unusual. You understand? And it said, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So now the second baby's name was Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when he bare them. When she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So now we'll start. Remember, I told you these two children are going to have different behaviors. It said 2 different manners of people are in thy womb. Meaning what? The way they behave is totally different. That's why it's getting into the behavior. And it said as the boys grew, Esau was a cunning hunter. What do white people love to do? White people love to hunt. They will throw on some camouflage so quick, the leaves, that they'll throw a whole bush over their body that they didn't got from Harbor Freight somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't got from Dick's Sporting Goods. You know what I'm saying? They'll go buy some deer piss off Amazon. You know what I'm saying? They go get the duck call, be sitting in the goddamn tree somewhere, sounding like a duck for 4 hours, calling 100 ducks so they can just shoot them all out the sky and kill them. You know what I mean? That's the type of behavior that they do. They love to hunt. And guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with hunting. You can hunt. Black people hunt. You can hunt. But it's a difference when you hunt for sport and you hunt because you're trying to eat. You know what I mean? The oppressor, he hunt for sport. That's why there's no more white rhinos. That's why there's no more dodo birds. That's why every animal been going extinct in the last 200, 300, 400 years because the oppressor rules this earth. And he hunts not for food, but for sport. They go to the Middle East and they go to Africa and they just kill everything in Madagascar. Either they kill it or they put it in a cage and bring it back to America and create zoos. That's what they do. Because why? Because they are different from black people. I ain't never seen a black man put on deer pits and sit in a tree for 4 hours waiting on a rhino to walk past. I never seen that. You know what I mean? I never seen Shaniqua, you know what I'm saying, take a trip to Africa, 16-hour plane ride to Africa to go over there to shoot a big giant giraffe just to take a picture with it. I never seen that. But I do see Sarah do it. I do see Helen do it, and Susie and Rebecca. You know what I mean? I do, and Carolyn. I see them do it. I see them take pictures doing it all the time. You know why? Because we are two different people. We don't do the same thing. And after that came his brother out, right? And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, right? And after they came out, Jacob was holding Esau's heel. And what is that? And that's symbolically talking about. Not only does that mean that Esau is supposed to, the white men are supposed to serve us, and we supposed to rule over them. But it's also letting you know that they're gonna symbolically saying they're gonna rule first, and then we gonna have our kingdom. That's why he was holding his heel, and that's in the Apocrypha. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. It said, they said Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Right, black man, we love to sit at the house. You know what I'm saying? We love to be around our chill. We come from work. Man, we trying to barbecue, sit down, watch the game, play the game. You know what I mean? Watch a football game, chill with our family, play with the kids, watch something good on Netflix. You know what I mean? We don't really do too much. But the oppressor, they out looking for trouble. They out hunting. They out full of demons on them. They out like a damn devil. All right, let's keep going. But it said Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, meaning like we like to chill at the house. We don't like to do too much. All right. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Right. And then it said Isaac loved Esau. Isaac loved Esau more because it was favoritism, because Esau was a man in the field. He loved to hunt. He always come back with deers and, you know what I mean, giraffes. He come back with good food you can eat. Like, man, this nigga always hunting. Every time I come home I'm sitting here, he come back with something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Where Jacob, he used to just chill at the house with, you know what I'm saying, just chill. He wasn't really doing too much. But they said, but he loved Jacob more because he used to eat of his vision. His vision. You know what I mean? So let's keep going. But Rebecca loved Jacob, and and it was favoritism. Ain't nothing wrong with showing favoritism to your children. You gonna have a favorite son. You might have a favorite daughter. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? As we can see, they did it here. Isaac loved Esau, and guess what? Rebecca loved Jacob. And why did Rebecca love Jacob? Because she know she raised Esau, but she know that Esau, the white man, was not her family. She know that, but from raising him up, you know what I mean? She walked past his room, man. It smelled like outside. You like, God damn, it smell like you been outside all day. You need to go take a shower. You know what I mean? Oh man, why do you smell like wet dog? I can just imagine. That's why she loved Jacob. She knew Jacob was her family. All right, let's keep going. Verse 29. And then, like I said, I'm just giving a backdrop because before you don't understand what Kanye West is talking about, you got to understand who are the Israelites and what does the Bible say about them? Who are the Hebrews? What does it mean to be anti-Semitic and all that? You have to understand all these things that we read. If you don't understand it, you just, what Kanye West is talking about, it just go over your head. You would think that you would believe the media that when they say he's crazy. All right? Let's keep going. So, and Isaac, okay, verse 29. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. So now, so as they got older, Jacob is cooking, right? He sod pottage. I mean, he's cooking. And Esau came from the field. Esau coming from the field, right? And let's see what Esau decided to do. Anton, Most High in Christ, Anton, and it said Esau came from the field as Jacob was cooking, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. So he seen Jacob cooking, and the food wasn't done yet. Jacob was cooking some type of beef stew or something, and it wasn't done yet. But guess what? Esau didn't care. He said, "Man, feed me that same red pottage, because I'm faint and I'm about to die." That's your oppressor. That's why they don't wait for no food to get done. They eat. You can go on YouTube right now. You will see babies, grown men, women, white people eating raw meat. That's their culture. And guess what? They forefather did this all the way back in the Bible. He told Jacob, he said, look, man, look, give me that. I don't give a damn if it's done or not. Give me that food. You understand? I don't care if it ain't cooked or not. Give me that food. I like it like that. But let's see what Jacob said. And he said, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. So Jacob said, man, look at you about to eat. You want to really eat this? Man, look, sell me your birthright. You know what I mean? Because you know why? Because Jacob knew how important an inheritance was. Jacob understood how important a birthright was, being the firstborn. Because that's what happens when you the firstborn, you get the birthright. The birthright goes to you. Your firstborn child is supposed to get your birthright. So you have 3 sons. Whatever son was born first, that's who gets the birthright. And guess what? He understood how important that was. Esau didn't. The white man, he didn't understand how important it was. You understand? He just like a greedy bastard. He want whatever he can get his hands on now. He don't want to wait for nothing. You understand? He don't want to wait for anything. And let me see. I pray thee with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And just like a white man, he's saying that he's at the point where he's about to die. And he don't give a damn. He said, what is they? Let me read that again. That's how much of a devil he is. He said, and Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall the birthright do to this birthright do to me? He said, look, I don't give a damn about no birthright. Give me that food. I'm about to damn near die. I'm so damn hungry. I ain't caught no damn deers all day. I've been sitting in the tree for 3-4 goddamn hours waiting on some anything to eat. And ain't nothing came past. None. I ain't got no food on none of my traps. I've been out all day hunting. I ain't got nothing. Man, give me that food. I don't give a damn about no birthright. And that's exactly why Jacob said to sell me your birthright, because he understood how important it was to be the firstborn and have a birthright. And he get a blessing from the Lord. And to get inheritance, to get land and all that. Because that's what inheritance is. An inheritance is land. You understand? He knew how important that was. But guess what? Esau, the white man, he didn't understand how important that was. And he didn't give a damn how it wasn't important to him. What was important to him was right here, right now. That's what was important to him. You understand? And that's exactly why, a little sidebar, that's why they don't believe in, that's why a lot of them don't believe in God. Because they believe what they see right here, right now in their face. They don't believe in something that they can't see. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. It said, and Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright into Jacob. Right. And you go to the Christian church, they'll lie and tell you that, oh, he swindled him out of his birthright. He tricked Esau out of his birthright. Nah, no, he didn't. Jacob got the birthright fair and square. You know what I mean? He sold his birthright. He traded his birthright for a piece of bloody meat. This is the people that rule over black people. Somebody that sell their birthright for a piece of bloody meat. And we got a bastard over us, man. You understand? We got a bastard over us. And it said, then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Right, Esau, he despised his birthright. He didn't give a damn about his birthright. You know what I mean? So let's keep going. Let me see. Let me see where we're going to go. Let's go to 27. Yeah, let's go to 20. So now we're going to drop it. We're going to 27. All right. So Genesis chapter 27 and 1. And it said, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old, his eyes were dim, so that he could not see. He called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. He said he said unto him, behold, here I am. So now we at the point where, you know, every time a father was about to die, he grabbed all his children, and you know, just like you got family members that's about to die, they old age, they're in the hospital, they want all the family to come visit them. You look around the hospital room, and you got all the family in there. Man, grandma about to die, grandpa about to die. You got all your nieces and nephews and cousins and uncles and grandchildren. Everybody sitting around the room, and you know he gonna say his last words. This is what Jacob did. I mean, uh, this is what Isaac did. He called Esau his oldest son, and he called Jacob in because he want to say his last words to him. And he said, behold, now I am old. I know that my day slacking, and I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapon and thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some vision, and make me savior of meat such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. Why? Because it was a part of Israelite culture to bless the firstborn. Esau was the firstborn, so Isaac wanted to bless him before he died. You know what I mean? So he said, man, look, take your bow, take your arrow, and take your spear and go out and hunt and bring me some vision back, meaning like some deer or some beef or cow. Bring me some food back so I can cook it. He said, bring me some food back so I can cook it, and then after you cook the food and I eat it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna bless you because I don't know when I'm gonna die. I might die soon, and I want to be able to bless you before I die. I don't want to die and not give you your blessing. You know what I mean? Here you go. And they said, so I can. And it said, and Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt a vision and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speaking to Esau thy brother, saying, bring me vision and make me save your meat that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. So look here. So Rebecca about to run a whole play. She heard Isaac tell Esau, I'm about to die. I need you to go find me some deer or anything. So, and I need you to cook it for me. You know what I'm saying? That I eat, I'm gonna bless you because I don't know when I'm gonna die, and I want to give you your birthright. Rebecca heard this and she said, nah, I ain't gonna let that happen. Why? Because she understood that Jacob was not her people. She understood that. She understood that Esau, the white man, was not her people, even though he came from her womb, even though this was her son, even though she raised him up like her own. She knew that he was not regular, he was not the same, and he wasn't deserving of this birthright. You understand? And so she told Jacob, "Nah, man, you don't do that." So just for time's sake, I ain't gonna read it. But she told Jacob to, man, look, I'm gonna go get a goat, or I'm gonna get something to cook. I'm gonna cook it up for him, and then you gonna go in there and you gonna act like Jacob. You gonna throw some goat skin, goat hair over your arms, and he gonna feel your arms because he blind, he can't see. And you gonna go in there and you gonna act like Esau, so you can get the blessing. So Esau won't get the blessing, right? All right, so let's go jump down to 30. And they said, and it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of from the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting, and he also had made savior of meat and brought it into his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's vision, that my soul may bless thee. That thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that have taken vision and brought it me? And he had and I had eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed. So now he's telling Esau, oh man, what the hell? Somebody already brought me some meat, and I blessed them. I thought it was you. Somebody tricked me. You know what I mean? And Esau heard the words of his father, and he cried with a great, exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. And he said, and then that's your oppressor. Like your oppressor completely have it good, right? And they act like life is horrible for them. Like the oppressor, like white people, they act like black people is the problem. in America. Life would be so good. Black people would just lace up their bootstraps and stop being criminals, and stop going to jail and stop producing this rap music. But meanwhile, they the one who put you in a situation to even be living like that. And they cry. All these politicians, they cry about black people being a problem. You know what I'm saying? When really they the goddamn problem. All right. And let me keep reading. And he said, and he said, thy father came with subtlety. He said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? So then he said, look here, my brother, he supplanted me these 2 times. And he took away and he said, man, my brother supplanted me 2 times and he took away my blessing. Well, meanwhile, Jacob never supplanted him. He sold his birthright fair and square. You understand? He didn't trick him out of no goddamn birthright. And he said, but so now he's crying. It's like the oppressor, he crying, playing victim. And he said, do you got a blessing for me? And then Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? So he said, I gave him all the blessings. He got the inheritance. The covenant went to him. Every promise that we've been passing down since from Noah, to Shem, to Abraham, to me, and that went to Israel. It went to Jacob. It went to your brother. You know what I mean? He said, what? And Esau said it to his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also. Oh, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So he was crying like, man, look, I know you got one blessing for me. Give me just one blessing, please. And this is the blessing that he gave him. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Right. So he said, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Because look at inheritance of what what Jacob got, an inheritance is land. So he got the inheritance was the land that he promised Abraham, that we read earlier in the 21st chapter, in the 17th chapter. The whole land of Canaan is the inheritance that Jacob got. So he couldn't give him inheritance to give him land. So then he said, what? And he said, and thy father answered him and said, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. So he said, look at that. Your dwelling is going to be the fatness of the earth and the dew above. Meaning you're going to stay in heaven. Everywhere that you stay is going to be in heaven. You're going to stay in all of the good places on earth. You understand? You're going to stay in all of the Beverly Hills and, you know what I mean, the Sunset Boulevards and all the good places, all the suburbs. That's where you're going to live at. All right? And by the sword shalt thou live and shalt serve thy brother. He's saying by the sword you're going to live. Meaning he's going to be able to stay in all these good places because he's going to live by the sword. What does it mean to live by the sword? Look at America. How did white people get here? They live in, what did it say? It said, they shall live in the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. That's what America is for the white man. It's like it. This is heaven for them. You know what I mean? America is absolutely heaven for them. You know what I mean? They don't have to worry about it. They don't live in projects. They don't live in the ghetto. They ain't in welfare lines. People ain't getting shot down in the street. They don't have to worry about their only thing they got to worry about is the opioid epidemic. You know what I mean? Because they ain't nothing but some dope fiends. That's the only thing they got to worry about. They ain't got to worry about what black people worry about. And it said, and thou shalt live by the sword. And he said, guess what? He going to live by the sword. That's how he's going to get the dew of heaven and live and get the fatness of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Get all this gold and money and riches and all that. And could be able to live in all these good lands and, you know what I mean? Get to own all these lands and 100 acres of land, thousands of acres of land and property and all that. Because he's going to live by the sword. He's going to murder to get it. Is that not how they got America? They murdered 77 million Native Americans. That's living by the sword. Then they killed over 100 million so-called black people. That's living by the sword. They dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killed thousands of Chinese people. That's living by the sword. They killed thousands of Arabs during 9/11. Let me say, I mean, not thousands, but millions. Women and children, everybody. That's living by the sword. You know what I'm saying? Queen Elizabeth went over to India and Africa and killed millions of those people. That's living by the sword. Not only that, they killed millions of each other. Every war, every world war was white people fighting white people. That's living by the sword. This is biblical. This is the spirit of them. You understand? And this is recorded in the Bible. You understand? So let's keep going. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And it said, and Esau hated Jacob his brother of the blessing wherewith his brother blessed him. And Esau said into his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. So then he said, look, as soon as our father died, I'm gonna kill Jacob. Just like Cain killed Abel, I'm gonna kill Jacob. So then they start getting the genealogy of Jacob getting wives, and Esau getting wives and having sons, and so on and so forth. All right. So let's now let's get Jacob right quick. Let's see who Jacob became. All right. So we ain't even gonna do that for time's sake. But Jacob ended up changing his name to Israel, and he had 12 sons. So now, let's get Genesis chapter 49. Let's get Genesis chapter 49. All right. This is Genesis chapter 49. So now we gonna get, like I said, Jacob had 12 sons. Now we gonna get Jacob blessing his sons. Just like how just like how Isaac was about to die, he went blind, he was about to pass away from age. He told Esau to come in so he can give him the blessing and give him his inheritance as being the firstborn. Jacob did the same thing because this is Israelite culture. This is the culture of the Bible. So let's go to Genesis chapter 49. And it said, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. So he told all his brothers to gather around before he died, right? And he said, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and excellency of my power. So he said, Reuben, you my firstborn. You understand? You the excellency of my power and my dignity. But it said, but unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou went up to my father's bed and defiled thou it. He went up to my couch. So basically, he's telling Reuben that he's not going to get the inheritance, even though he's the firstborn, because he did something evil and he went and slept with one of Jacob's wives, which is his father, which is one of his, like, not his mom, his biological mom, but one of his, like, stepmama, so to speak. He went and slept with him, so he's not going to get the birthright. So let's go to Simeon. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. He says Simeon and Levi are brethren. You know what I mean? Who is Simeon and Levi today? It's like in Reuben. We just want to know Reuben. Reuben today will be the Seminole Indians. You understand? And this said Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. So who is Simeon and Levi? Simeon and Levi is Dominicans and Haitians. And they on the land of Hispaniola right now together. You know what I mean? They still stay together to this day. And it said Simeon and Levi, which is the Dominicans and the Haitians, are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. What is that instruments of cruelty? What is that talking about? That's talking about that voodoo. You understand? They got instruments of cruelty in their hand. They know how to do that voodoo. And all voodoo is just special. Voodoo is knowing herbs. Voodoo is not what you think it is. You get the doll and you light a fire and some candles, and you make your eyes roll back and you poke the doll with little needles, and somebody across the world sitting like, oh my God, why is my arm stinging? That's not voodoo. That's TV. You know what I'm saying? Real voodoo is knowing herbs. That's why I love when the Haitians won their independence. You know what I mean? They won their independence by going to war and defeating the French with using voodoo. But how did they do it? They mixed certain plants and certain concoctions and herbs, and you know what I'm saying. It was herbalists. They mixed certain concoctions and it made the French sick. They had diarrhea. They was vomiting, and they ended up losing the war. But the oppressor, being the devil that the Bible speaks of, he gonna make it seem like they had to have the devil on their side to be able to win war, or to be able to win a battle against them. But really, they just defeated them like how anybody else is defeated through war. You know what I'm saying? Through regular war. You understand? And that's exactly what the Haitians did. It says, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. The verse 6, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their dwelling, their self-will, they dig down a wall. You see that? They said, look, don't, these two, they not to unite and come together. Because in their anger, they slew a man. And what is this talking about? This is talking about when their sister got raped. You know what I'm saying? Jacob had 12 sons, but he had a daughter or two. I believe he had one daughter. I mean, she ended up getting raped by some Africans, and they, Simeon and Levi, which is the Dominicans and the Haitians, they said, you know what? We ain't letting them slide. We finna go over there and we finna kill them Africans. So they went over there and they killed the Africans that raped her. They weren't going for it. You know what I mean? And Israel is not giving them the blessing because they was not supposed to do that. Because Israel wanted to keep the peace because they were surrounded by Africans. They were surrounded by all these different people. And he was like, nigga, we go to war, they go to war with us, then nigga, we all of us gonna die. So he didn't want them to do that. He said out of their anger, they did something dumb. So they not gonna get the blessing. And that's all right. So verse 7. It said, Cursed be thy anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. And it said, verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in thy enemies, it's like in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down to thee. You see that? It said, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. And like all the tribes look up to Judah. Who is Judah? Judah is the so-called Negro. And this ain't tribalism. I ain't just, you know what I mean? But all the tribes pretty much look up to Judah. We started the drill rap, you know what I mean? We started gang banging, Bloods and Crips. We started the Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Even the ISVK started in America were predominantly Judites are. You know what I mean? Everything come from down there, Judah, man. He said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies, meaning like Judah love fight. Judah love fight, man. Thy father's children shall bow down to thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stood down. It's like he stooped down. He crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Right? Judah is a lion. Like he devour his enemies, but he like an an old lion. You know what I mean? And it said, who shall rouse him up? When you get that old lion up, he gonna hurt something. You know what I mean? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and until him shall the gathering of the people be. And it said, the scepter. What is a scepter? Do anybody know what a scepter is? Do anybody know what a scepter is? You might know. All right, so a scepter is like what's another word for it? A scepter is like, you ever seen a king in the old movies? You know what I'm saying? He got like a staff and they got like a globe on the top. You know what I mean? That's what a scepter is. And it shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Right. It said, look, Judah is gonna rule. Judah is gonna rule. And it said what? Nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. Who is Shiloh? Shiloh is talking about Christ returning. That's talking about Christ returning. And it said he gonna come and he's gonna be a lawgiver. and the law will never depart from Judah. You understand? And into him shall not shall the shall the it's like and into him shall the gathering of the people be. Right, Judah is the one that's gonna get everybody roused up, and he gonna make sure everybody gather together. Why? Because Christ is gonna return, and he gonna pick every black Hispanic first of the 144 and innumerable amount of number of black and Hispanics that's gonna get saved when Christ returns. You know what I mean? They said binding his foal into the vine, and it's like it, binding his foal into the vine, and his ass's coat into the choice vine. He washes his garment in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Right, meaning what? Precept. Precept is talking about when Christ returned. It said what? It said his garment was going to be dipped in blood, because there's going to be a lot of bloodshed when Christ returned and come to set these laws down on all these other nations and put black, Hispanic, Native American Indians in rulership. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed behind that. They said, hopefully you have time to answer about what do Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and Jamaicans stand in this honest question. The Puerto Ricans and the Cubans and the Jamaicans, what do they stand in this? You gotta dinner and ask that question again, because I'm not really sure what you mean by stand in this. But the so-called Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Jamaicans, they are the children of Israel too. You know what I'm saying? The Puerto Ricans are the tribe of Ephraim in the Bible. They come from the same tribe of Joseph, who was the brother that picked up, the the mantle after Moses died, I believe. Yeah, but he was an Ephraimite. The Cubans are from the tribe of Manasseh. You know what I'm saying? That's who. Word it again if you could, Baba Kishah. Ain't no swear, brother. But the Cubans are from the tribe of Manasseh. You understand? And the Jamaicans, they from the tribe of Benjamin. And we all in this together. We all from the 12 tribes. They said right. They said not stand but biblically. Oh, biblically, what do they stand in this? What are they at biblically in this? Oh man. And then I wish I really could get into that. I mean, I might get into it, but let me see. Let me see something real quick. All right, so. Okay, so where they stand biblically? How can I answer that? They went into slavery just like black people, just like so-called Negroes, the tribe of Judah, just like how we went to slavery. They also went into slavery as well. You know what I mean? The so-called Puerto Ricans in the Northern Kingdom, they went into slavery in 1492. So-called Haitians, Jamaicans, Negroes, we went into slavery in 1619. And as of right now, we all under the curses under the rulership of the oppressor, of the devil, and we all experiencing in this thing together biblically. And when you read the Bible, it said that what does it say? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that right quick for time's sake. I think it's Jeremiah 17:17, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not, I'm gonna have to look it up. But as far as the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans and Jamaicans, we all in this together. We oppressed together. But my question is, why are you only asking about those specific tribes? Do you know about the 12 tribes of Israel? Because what I'm seeing is you just mentioned you see the Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Jamaicans. That's 3 tribes. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother 9 tribes. All right, so matter of fact, we gonna get that. All right, so when in Jeremiah, I mean, when we was just reading in Genesis, that was Jacob giving his sons the blessing and all that, right? So now we gonna see what happened. Now we gonna go to Jeremiah where it say that we discontinue from that heritage. Puerto Rican, my wife is African. Oh, so you a Puerto Rican? Okay, you Puerto Rican. All right. So if you're a Puerto Rican, according to the Bible, you would be from the tribe of Ephraim. You understand? That's the tribe. The Puerto Ricans are from the tribe of Ephraim. You understand? Which means arrow. That's a strong tribe right there, man. And Puerto Ricans ain't no joke. And then contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that black people went into slavery first. But what they don't tell you in history is that Puerto Ricans went into slavery before any of the 12 tribes. You understand? They went into slavery on slave ships in 1492. They got took back to Europe and certain parts of the Bahamas and all that. They got shipped around too, almost 100 some years before we went into slavery. That's the side of that they don't talk about. But we all is in this together, man. But I'm trying to get a specific scripture. And it said when it said Jacob and Esau, I mean it's like it said we was oppressed together. Let me pull the scripture right quick. Yeah, black, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians and Puerto Ricans. Hey, know, you said your English messed up. Hey, man, no sweat. You know what I mean? And if your wife is African, you know, if you so-called black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, you are not to marry anybody that's not a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. And when I say black, I'm talking about people that went through slavery. Africans are not our people. But if you slept with her and that's your wife, you gotta stay with her. You know what I mean? Yeah, hey man, it ain't no sweat, brother. But I'm gonna fully answer your question. Let me see. On press together. Where's that at? I think it's in my, Jeremiah 50 and 33 all the way on. So let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 33. And this is what it says about the Jamaicans, Haitians, and the Cubans right here. Uh, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Let's see. Slovakia. Bear with me 1 second. Oh yeah, here it go. And it said, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So that's what it say about the Puerto Ricans and the Haitians and the Jamaicans and the Colombians and the Cubans and the African Americans, you know what I mean, and the Dominicans and the Peruvians and the Mexicans, the Guatemalans, the Venezuelans, you know what I mean, the Bolivians, the Brazilians. It said that we all was oppressed together, and the people that oppressed us, they didn't want to let us go. That's the captivity here in America. We oppressed. That's why we speak Spanish. That's why we speak English. That's why we eat the way we eat. That's why we behave the way we behave in this country because we the people that oppressed us gave us this way of life. They gave us their culture. You know what I mean? You go down to Central and South America, and you see those brothers cutting each other heads off, and you know what I'm saying, the cartel, and then they're destroying every goddamn thing down there. That's not our culture, man. You go to Chicago, some places in America, and like Detroit, Chicago, Oakland, and you got black people killing each other like man. Like you would just stop at a gas station and get gas, and you'll be a witness to a goddamn triple murder. You like, man, what the hell is going on? I just came to get gas. I just seen 3 people get murdered with a damn Draco. Literally. You know what I mean? It happens all the goddamn time because we don't have, that's why the Bible says we're supposed to be separate. Because the Lord know that if you take on the culture of somebody else, you have to leave your culture. In order for everybody to come together, guess what you have to do? You have to leave your culture. You got to throw your culture away. And that's why the Lord wants us to be separate. You know what I mean? And that's what we do in ISUBK. We teach the so-called Colombians, you know what I'm saying, Jamaicans, Haitians, black people, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans. We teaching them how to be holy again, how to be separate, how to separate from everybody and gather ourselves to, like Zephaniah 2:1 say. That's what we have to do. That's what the ISUBK is all about. We all about gathering all our people together so we can fix the black community, so we can fix the Hispanic community, the Latin community. That's what we about. You know what I mean? And no other organization is about doing that. You know what I mean? No organization is about fixing black people, but we are. But yeah, but it said we all press together, and so while we oppressed because we sinned against God, and we decided to take on the culture of another nation. That's what happened, and that's why we don't even know that we Israelites no more. We don't even know that who we descend from. We don't even know who the patriarchs of the Bible is and who. You know what I'm saying? We don't know none of that. And I'm gonna get that right quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 17:17. Jeremiah. Let me see. Uh, is it 17? No, Jeremiah 17:4. And it said, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever." You see that? The Bible say, even we shall discontinue from our heritage. What does it mean to discontinue? I mean, we're going to stop. We're going to stop calling ourselves the Jews of the Bible. We're going to stop calling ourselves the Manasseh, Ephraim, you know what I mean, Naphtali, Issachar, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Reuben, Simeon. We're going to stop calling ourselves all these different names, and we're going to become Mexican. We're going to become African American, Afro American, Haitian, Jamaican. We're going to discontinue from our heritage. That's in the Bible that was going to happen to us. That's why every 5 years, I mean, every 10, 20 years, black people nationality change. We the only people on the planet that nationality change every 10 years, every 15 years. It go from Negro to Afro-American to Afro-American to African to black. You know what I mean? It changed every goddamn 10 years, man. You know why? Because we discontinue from our heritage. And when you discontinue from your heritage, guess what you're doing? You picking up somebody else's heritage because you trying to find an identity. You trying to find an identity, so you gonna pick up everybody else. So that's why black people think that they Muslims. They think that they trying to pick up the Arab religion to be Arabs, and not even knowing that your culture is in the Bible. That you can never. The Arabs is laughing at you because when you try to be a Muslim, you making yourself a second-class citizen to the Arabs, and it's the same thing with Christianity. You trying to be a Christian, you making yourself a second-class citizen to white people because that's their religion. The Bible is not about religion. This is a holy book. What does the word holy mean? Holy means to be separate. You know what I mean? This meaning that this book right here is for a separate people and only for a certain people. It's not about inclusion. It's not about including everybody. You know what I mean? But that's why we discontinue from our heritage because we wanted to be a part of everybody else's culture. And that's horrible. You understand? And so, yeah, we got to come back to telling them. That's why being in these classes is so important. You know what I mean? That's why us teaching these classes and going to camp is so important. And guess what? We've been doing this since 1969. Everybody amazed and shocked that Kanye West said that black people were the real Jews and the Hispanics the real Jews. Guess what? We've been saying this since the 60s. He only scratching the surface of what we've been doing. You know what I mean? He only scratching the surface of what we've been doing. We've been saying this. Why? Because we discontinue from our heritage. So black people, we don't know who we are anymore. We don't know who he is no more. Because it was a certain point in time when you couldn't even say that you was a Jew or to say you was a Hebrew Israelite, none of that. That's what Nat Turner and them do the same thing. You know what I mean? They do the same thing. The people on Israelite Hill, they knew it. So many people knew this. You understand? But now it's starting to, all black people starting to wake back up. Hispanics starting to wake back up to their culture, to who they really is, and this is what we want. You know what I mean? All right, so let's drop that. Let's go to let's just go to Revelation 3:9. The time sake. Matter of fact, let me go to Jeremiah 14:2 since I'm in Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah 14:2. Because when we discontinue from our heritage, guess what? Somebody else picked our heritage up. When we start calling ourselves by another name, somebody else said that they are us now. This is something that you would never learn in the Christian church. Let's read it. This is Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language. So we read in Genesis the 49th chapter that Jacob had 12 sons, and he gave the 12 of them blessings, right? And he told them what was going to happen to them in the last days. It said what? It said Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language. It said, but the tribe of Judah mourneth, meaning what? Judah is an abbreviation for the word Jew. I mean, a Jew, to be a Jew, you have to come from the tribe of Judah. That's why when they call somebody a Jew, that means that they come from the tribe of Judah, because it's just an abbreviation, because that's what black people do. You understand? Like if you want to call somebody brother, like in Northern California, we say bruh a lot, or bro. That's what we say. What is that short for? That's short for brother, or bruh. Bruh is short for brother. It's the same thing with Judah. Over time, we start calling ourselves Judah, and they start calling us Jews or a Jew. It's just an abbreviation for one tribe. It's 11 other tribes. You know what I mean? But what did it say? Judah mourneth in the gates thereof language. It said the Jews are in mourning. Meaning what? The Jews are in mourning, man. They suffering. They in the goddamn ghetto. You understand? Go to Detroit. Go to Chicago. Go to Oakland. Go to Richmond. You know, go to South Sacramento. Go to North Sacramento. You know what I mean? Black people are in mourning. You got to throw a fill. Are in mourning, man. You understand? No matter where you look and turn, wherever there is Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians at, they are in mourning. They suffering. You know what I mean? That's what the real, but the people that call themselves the Jews, they're not suffering. And that's what Kanye West is trying to bring out. The people that call themselves Jews, they're not suffering. They own the Diamond District. They own Disney. They own they own Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They own anything that you could think of that brings millions of dollars and billions and trillions of dollars. It's all owned by Jewish people. They own it. So how could they be in mourning? It said, "And Judah mourneth in the gates thereof language." And what does it say? The real Jews, Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, they are mourning in the gates thereof language. Meaning what? What do you have a gate for? A gate is for protection. You put a gate around your house to protect your house from outsiders, or to protect your house from certain animals in the area. You know what I mean? That's what you put a gate around your house. But it said we don't have a gate. Meaning what? We don't have no protection. And even that's why the Arabs able to come over here and set up liquor stores and convenience stores in our neighborhood, and take the little money that we do have and send it back to Arabia. You know what I'm saying? Send it back to Dubai. That's why the Chinese and the Koreans get $50 million a year off of black people annually. And they take that money from their hair products and they stores and they eyelash products and all that, and they send that money back to Korea. The Chinese people, they do the same thing with the Chinese food stores, and you know what I mean, they hair stores and they laundry mats. Everybody's able to come to America and set up in the black community. Why? Because we don't have no gates, meaning that we don't have nobody protecting us that will prevent this from happening. So guess what? Outsiders able to come in. They're able to come in and put and set up yard sales right on our goddamn property. They're able to come in and start selling stuff off of our property. You know what I mean? And nobody says anything about it. That's a metaphor. Not literally, but it's a metaphor. You know what I mean? Why? Because we don't have no protection. But the Chinese, they got, even though America hate the Chinese got protection. That's why when the Chinese man got socked in San Francisco or New Jersey, wherever the hell he got socked, some young black brothers socked him up, punched him up, and guess what? They got a whole Asian hate bill all of a sudden. But meanwhile, you can get shot down in the goddamn streets and nobody cares. You know why? Because the gates thereof language, we don't have no protection. You know what I mean? You can get murdered all goddamn day. The Jewish be like, I can't even say the white man the devil on YouTube. They might flag me for saying that right now. I can't even say that. I can't even say that Jewish people ain't the real Jews. They might flag me for that. But guess what? The Jewish man is able to fund and push drill music and rap music all throughout your neighborhood. That's what Kanye was saying. And get paid from it. They ain't just doing it. They get paid from doing it. That's what Kanye was trying to say. You know what I mean? And they're able to do that because we don't have no protection. Everybody that's supposed to protect us, that we think protecting us, actually sold us out. They came with a price. They had a price tag on there. They came with a price, and they said, look, give me this price. I'll sell them all. I ain't tripping. We have some horrible leaders. You understand? And that's why the ISUBK, the Commanders Junior Hunter, and what we do is so important. Because for the last 60 years, you've been putting your faith into your Christian pastor, T.D. Jakes, Reverend R. Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, all these religious leaders, and they have did nothing but further push the agenda of the oppressor and literally destroy black people. You know what I mean? That's why Kanye West is a black billionaire. Oprah Winfrey is a black billionaire. Michael Jordan is a black billionaire. And guess what? They all from Chicago. And look at Chicago. Look at Chicago. You know what I mean? You know why? They said, what? The gates thereof language, because we don't have no protection. You know what I mean? And now this is going to tell you who was talking about. They are black into the ground. I thought color wasn't in the Bible. They've been teaching that forever. You know what I mean? Color is not in the Bible. We just read it right now. I'm going to read it. It's Jeremiah 14:2. Look it up on your phone. Type in Google. Jeremiah 14:2. What's that, man? Yeah. No. I am. Not right now. What's that? Twelve? No. All right. And it said, they are black into the ground. It said to make it look at the real Jews are black into the ground. So what you have to do is really think about them. Is what Kanye West was saying? What he was saying on Drink Champs true? Are we the real Jews? Because the Bible is confirming it. It said that they are black into the ground, meaning what? We different shades of brown. We different shades. Black people come in all different shades. You know what I mean? So who the hell are those people that stay in Israel, stay in Jerusalem right now, calling themselves the Jews? Who the hell are they? Who the hell are they? Because they're not the Jews of the Bible. Because the Bible, it don't support them being the real Jews. It does not support them. The Bible says the real Jews are black. And guess what? Christ was a Jew. Christ came from the tribe of Judah. You understand? He came from the tribe of Judah. And not only that, when we go get some more, we will go to, matter of fact, we get to Deuteronomy 28, 68. And not only that, they don't not only do they not fit the physical description, but they don't even fit the curses or the blessings in it. I mean, they don't fit the curses of the Bible. Like, this is how you, like, even if you didn't know your nationality and know who your, like, let's say you grew up in foster care, but you didn't know who your forefather was, you would know who you was because the curses of the Bible. It's like it's curses that's over black people. You understand that the Lord said was going to be on us until we come back and serve Him as a people. And let's read one of the curses that was going to happen to the children of Israel. It's Deuteronomy 28:68. It said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. You see this? It said the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. What is Egypt? Egypt is America. That's what it's talking about. Because this is not talking about Egypt that's over there in Africa, in the Middle East. That's not what it's talking about. Egypt is a Greek word which means bondage. And the Lord said that if we don't listen to Him, this is what was going to happen to our people. We was going to go into slavery again. We already got out of Egypt the first time. And we left Egypt after 400 years, and we went to the Middle East, and we stayed in the wilderness for 40 years, set up our nation, and then we, you know what I'm saying, went and took our land back from the Africans. And the Lord told us, Moses said, if you don't listen to the Lord again, you will go back into Egypt again. But this time, it's going to be with ships, talking about America. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Look, the Jewish man don't fit this. He don't fit this curse in the Bible. Nobody ever put him on ships and sent him anywhere. But that did happen to black people. How did black people get to America? We got to America on slave ships. How did Puerto Ricans get to Europe? They got there on slave ships. How did Jamaicans and Haitians get to the West Indies and South America and Central South America? They got there on slave ships, and that's recorded in the Bible that was going to happen to them. But guess who don't fit this curse? Guess who don't fit this record? The Jewish man. He don't fit this record. Ask him how he got to Israel. They walked there, they drove there. You know what I mean? They left Europe, they left Poland and Sweden and Switzerland and, you know, England and London, and they left all these different countries, and they went there after they adopted Judaism. You know what I mean? That's how they got to that land. That's not their land. They moved over there in 1947. You can look it up. After Hitler started killing them, you know what I mean, and they went to the concentration camps and all that. Then they moved over there because they was being oppressed by the Germans. So guess what? They said, you know what? We need to separate them from the people that's oppressing them. So let's put them in the land of Israel. But the Bible didn't say that. The Bible said the Lord was going to sit us in our land, and that's in Isaiah. And they said we weren't going to no war no more. So why the hell are they in the land already? And not only that, why is it only one tribe? Where's the other 12 tribes? These are the questions that you got to ask, and especially to a Jewish man. If they claim to be the Jews of the Bible, they can't claim to be the Israelites. Where are the other 12 tribes at? Why is it just only one tribe over there? Why did y'all get here in 1947 when the Bible said the Lord gonna sit us in that land? The Lord didn't put them in that land; they did that themselves. You know what I mean? So it's just so many scriptures that you can go over. My last scripture for time's sake, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Revelations, but I had to pull that to show you that they don't even fit the curses. You know what I mean? I'm just go to Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. He said, I know thy works and the tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. Right. The black people are in poverty. Hispanic, says, nigga, black, Hispanic, Native American, we in poverty. You understand? And the Lord said he understand that. The Jewish man out in poverty, they get literally billions of dollars a year. You know what I'm saying? From America. America always doing that. They just send billions of dollars to Ukraine, but they don't give a damn about black people. They send billions of dollars to Israel annually, every year. But meanwhile, you suffering and dying in the ghetto with no help or nothing. And I ain't mad at you because you want another stimulus check. Come on, man. You know what I mean? And it said, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And what makes us rich? What makes us rich is that the covenant went to us. It didn't go to Esau. Because that's all the Jewish man is. He's just another white man. That's it. He is not the children of God. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Who worship in the synagogue? The Jewish people, they worship in the synagogue. Who says they the Jews on this earth? The Jewish man say that they're Jews on this earth. But what did the Bible say? And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. They say that they're the real Jews, but they are not the real Jews. They are the synagogue of Satan. Meaning what? They're the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. They can never be a Jew. The real Jews are in captivity and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, like the Bible says. Man. You know what I mean? Go read the curses of Deuteronomy, and you will see, man. Damn, you get to read it, and you will see, damn. The Bible must be talking about me. But you look at them people, you'll know that the Bible ain't talking about them. You know what I mean? That's why they don't even call themselves the Jews. They call themselves Jewish. What does ish mean? Ish means pertaining to or to be like. Like meaning that they want to be the real Jews, but they're not. That's why they call themselves Jewish. You understand? And so that's what y'all gotta understand, man. So-called Black Hispanic Native American Indians, man, subscribe to ISUBK Sacramento, ISUBK NorCal. Support this truth. Like, share, smash that like button, share the class, subscribe, do all that. Let's get this truth out there. You understand? And what you're gonna realize in these days, in these later days, is that we ain't finna stop. ISUBK ain't gonna stop first off, but you will see more and more entertainers and rappers and people that got platforms starting to wake up to the truth, and you gonna realize that damn, your cousin that joined the ISUBK wasn't crazy. Your family members that joined the ISUBK and wanted to be a part of this, they wasn't crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you realize they wasn't crazy before it's too late. You understand? With that being said, y'all bashim shabbat out the brothers. Y'all shema bashim y'all shout out the sisters. Tune in. I'm going live again, man. Dropping Jewels podcast. You already know what it is.